Hey y'all, I'm Lara Luna, and this is episode 7 of Trailer Park Angel. Today, we're welcoming back our Snowbirds. And if you've ever seen a flock of characters come home all at once, you know it's part reunion, part circus, and part free entertainment. This episode starts with me walking to the mailbox, minding my business, when I look over at the shuffleboard court and notice a familiar sound. Well, look at what the cat dragged in. 4 familiar faces, 4 fresh tans, and 4 voices you could place on a map with your eyes closed. 4, 4, 4. So let me introduce you to our Snowbirds. And if you live in a 55 plus park already, then you know, eventually, everyone earns a nickname like Cowboy Ken, Jersey Joe, or Carnival Kate, for example. The first Snowbird, and one of my favorites, is Mr. Gatorade Gary from Australia. G'day, mate! Our unofficial reptile manager of Florida. Then there's Miss Melted Mo from Boston, and she's wicked smart and wickedly honest. Then comes our pizza specialist, Mr. Velvet Veto from New York. Paranoid in a charming way, and always says, "Hey, what are you looking at?" even when nobody's looking. Last is Miss Meddling Marge from Minnesota, don't you know? Proud mama of a cooler full of cheese curds that squeak like sneakers on a gym floor. I wandered over to welcome them back and catch them up on what's been happening around here. They told me they had a great idea, volunteering at the local zoo starting today. They were on their way to meet the head zookeeper, who will assign each of them to a specific animal to care for. They asked me if I wanted to tag along to meet the head honcho and see all the animals. They needed someone to record their bucket list adventure. I was happy to go, so I said a little prayer to the angels, just in case there was a hungry lion hunting snowbirds. I pulled my Jeep into the zoo parking lot, and there they were, lined up like a khaki-colored boy band. Safari hats, cargo vests, binoculars still sporting their price tags. They were waiting by the gate for the boss man, who's gonna give us a tour of the zoo and give the birds their assignments. He arrived in full-on desert camo fatigues. He was a retired Marine, burly guy with a beard, and on his ball hat read in all caps, "Hoorah!" He was wearing combat boots that saw too many desert storms. "All right, folks," he said, "stick with me. We're doing this, one enclosure at a time. Listen up, hands to your sides, eyes forward. No feeding anything, and I mean anything, especially not your peppermint patties, because the monkeys will form a tactical unit, flank you from both sides, and steal your fanny pack. That's an order." I wrote that down twice. I also wrote down a new name for the head zookeeper. Let's call him Sergeant Safari. He stomped up to the railing, pointed to a lazy green giant half submerged in the water. "Gatorade Gary, this is your battlefield. Keep your eyes peeled and your limbs inside. If one of these fellas blinks at you funny, you back away slow and steady. Remember, they got more teeth than the VA's got paperwork." "Mo from Boston, you're on bird duty. That means feeding, not teaching them new words. Last time somebody did that, the parrots spent a week yelling profanities at the flamingos. Keep it clean, keep it quiet." "Marge from Minnesota, this is the penguin pen. You'll be handing out fish. Try not to slip, because if you go down, They'll think you're a sled and ride you to the wall. And for the love of chow, don't give them cheese curds. Veto, this hippo zone is yours. Watch them close. These ain't big puddle puppies. They're 3,000 pounds of muscle that can outrun you in water and on land. Your mission is simple. Feed, observe, and avoid getting pancaked. Sergeant Safari stops at the last enclosure and lowers his voice. All right, this here is off limits. You don't feed it, you don't talk to it, you don't even breathe funny near the fence. If you hear rustling or smell something that ain't right, keep moving. Whatever's in there doesn't want a new friend. That's when I glanced up and noticed something nailed to the corner post. Plain as day. Angel number 4747. Wow, a sign. All right, troops, mission complete. You made it through the tour without getting bit, trampled, or pecked. Head to the gift shop, grab yourself an overpriced plush, and remember, what happens in restricted enclosure stays in restricted enclosure. With the assignments done, Sergeant Safari saluted the troops and marched back into the reptile den. The snowbirds looked scared until Marge said, "It'll be fun, don't you know?" After we left the zoo and went back to the park, I started to wonder about the cage with the number 4747. Why did they put a cage that big sitting way out at the end of the zoo? Why cover it? Is there already something in it? Why put it where nobody wanders by? Back at the 55 Plus Park, there was a dog owner lookalike contest going on in the clubhouse. I couldn't pass that up. My tape recorder was ready. I named the recording the Doppelganger Derby. I grabbed a seat in the back, and I'm sitting there at the dog lookalike contest, just trying to enjoy the show, when I spot Miss Ginger, strutting in like she owns the place. She's in full leopard print from head to toe, even got one of those headbands with little cat ears on it, and these big black sunglasses that look like something Catwoman would have worn back in the old Batman and Robin days. And she's carrying her Bengal cat, Queen Cleopatra, one of those spotted jungle-looking cats you usually see on nature shows. She plops down next to me and says loud enough for half the park to hear, "Cats are people too, and I'm going to write to the President of the United States, start a petition, and organize a march right here in this park until cats get equal rights at dog shows." Well, her little queen had other plans. The second she locked eyes with a nervous labradoodle in a tutu, she puffed up, hissed, and all chaos broke loose. The doodle took off like its tail was on fire, yanking its owner halfway across the stage, knocking over a bulldog dressed like Elvis, and sending a Yorkie with a cowboy hat rolling right off the runway. Miss Ginger just scooped up her queen, muttered something about equal rights, and marched out, leaving the mess behind her. I turned to the guy next to me and said, "And that, my friend, is exactly why I don't go to family reunions anymore, because it always turns into cats and dogs." As soon as she left, everything finally went back to normal, and we got on with the show. First up was a couple with 2 Basset Hounds. They all looked alike, stepped straight out of 1973. Birkenstocks, vintage denim, and flowers stuck in their hair. As they shuffled down the runway, a Karen Carpenter song floated through the speakers. The Bassets started howling. Why do hounds suddenly appear every time they smell bacon? Just like me, they long to eat something good. Next up, a gentleman from Kentucky with his bloodhound. Those two walk like they share one soul and two very droopy eyelids. I almost offered them a cup of coffee. Then a lady with her collie. They had matching hairdos and a strut that said, "We take hairstyle very seriously." Finally, a man with his bulldog. And if genetics could photocopy, that's exactly what happened. Same square jaw, same exaggerated waddle, and same try me face. As the event came to an end, the judge held up a little trophy shaped like a paw and declared the winner. The Basset Hound couple won the show, because sometimes the 70s and sad eyes just work. On my way home, I was still haunted by the image of the last cage at the zoo. Why would they put that enclosure where no one but the zoo staff could see it? Why cover it up? What's with 4747 on the cage? Angel number 4747 is not a common one to see. It's about recovering what was lost and stepping into a new chapter, the kind that changes more than just one person. It's about quiet discoveries, trusting your taps on the shoulder, and building something solid from what you find. It's important to note, when you keep seeing 4747, pay attention. You might be closer than you think to uncovering something that really matters. With all this mystery and with my curious mind, I decided to go back to the zoo tomorrow and see if I can ask more questions about the mystery creature in the secret enclosure. And as a thank you for listening to my podcast for the 7th time, I'm leaving you with a recipe I make for my dog. So if you want to grab a notebook and a pen, I'll wait for you to come back. In the meantime, I wanted to mention something important. If you live in Florida and you have a furry family member, we have a veterinarian around here who's a local legend. We call him Super Duper Cooper. Dr. Cooper from the Animal Care Center of Weeki Wachee and his staff, the wonderful Weeki Wachee Wizards. Give him a call at 352-596-2100. I also wanted to mention the Possum Pet Care Home Health Veterinary Nurses. They come right to your door. They're the positive, phenomenal, premier nurses of all time, offering unique and much-needed services you can't find anywhere else. Call 352-423-2220, and they've been with me and my pug Gemma every step of the way, giving us the kind of care you can't put a price on. They'll work with your vet and even drive your pet where they need to go, and can help you at home with medical care and more. And for your patience, here's your recipe. Easy organic pumpkin peanut butter dog biscuits. I know most of y'all have pups, except for Miss Ginger. And because today was wall-to-wall animals, here's a quick treat you can bake tonight. 2 cups organic oat flour, or Blitz oats in a blender. 1 cup organic pumpkin puree, plain. 1/2 cup organic peanut butter. Mix until a soft dough forms. Roll to about 1/4 inch, cut into shapes, bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 18 minutes. Cool them completely, then give as a treat. Store airtight for 5 to 7 days, or you can freeze them. Now, back to the show. As I turned in for the night after a long day, Gatorade Gary texted a photo of his volunteer outfit for tomorrow. Hat, vest, and something that reminded me a lot like Mick Dundee. I wrote back, "Gary, if tomorrow gets interesting, you're gonna need a bigger knife." Hey, Thanks for listening, and thanks for your time. Stay tuned for episode 8. We'll continue at the zoo and find out what's inside that mysterious enclosure and more. So, keep your cheese curds to yourselves, and if you're hungry for a pizza, call Mr. Veto. And always remember, when dealing with nuisance alligators, call Mr. Gatorade Gary from down under. Bye!